This is Dachau concentration camp. Dachau was the very first concentration camp set up by the Nazis. It was opened in 1933, just a couple of weeks after Hitler came to power. And what started here didn't stay here. This place became the blueprint for an entire system of camps that would spread across Europe. This was ground zero of concentration camps. And to understand what happened here, you have to walk the path the prisoners were forced to take, moving step by step through this camp. The entrance to this nightmare is the garrison gate. Built into the heavy iron door are 3 words: Arbeit Macht Frei, which means work will set you free. It was the first psychological weapon used against hundreds of thousands of people who were imprisoned here. Then, once inside the camp, prisoners were forced to line up inside the square right in front of the maintenance building. And in 1939, the SS painted a quote across the roof of the building that said, "There is one path to freedom. Its milestones are obedience, honesty, cleanliness, sobriety, diligence, orderliness, self-sacrifice, truthfulness, and love of the fatherland." The building's purpose was to maintain Dachau. It housed the camp's kitchens, laundry, and clothing storage. But for prisoners that just arrived at the camp, it was a place where the intake process began. It was a brutal, highly calculated stripping of human dignity. Here, under the screams and beatings of the guards, they were ordered to strip naked and give away every personal belonging. Wedding rings, passports, photographs, eyeglasses. Every item from their past life was confiscated. During intake, prisoners were ordered to take baths where their heads and bodies were shaved. Finally, prisoners were given the famous striped uniforms that were usually the completely wrong size for them, and a badge. Each badge symbolized why the prisoner was brought here. For example, the pink triangle was for people who were arrested under the homosexual laws. The red triangle was for political prisoners like the communists, socialists, etc. They also had special badges. For example, if the prisoner was arrested for being Jewish and accused of being a communist, he would get a yellow triangle with another red triangle above it. This labeling system that started here would be applied to every other concentration camp that came after it. This maintenance building was also the designated site for severe punishment. The most notorious punishment is the pole hanging, where prisoners were hanged from hooks by their wrists tied behind their backs for hours at a time. Yeah, that was some really heavy stuff. We just got out of the maintenance building, so to speak. What do you call that feeling in your stomach? It's like very unpleasant. And right before we started the tour, the weather was not very good, and I was complaining about the weather in a literal concentration camp. Note to self: what are you doing, man? The prisoners' next stop was the barracks. Today, only 2 reconstructed buildings stand here, but right behind them there are additional 15 rows of concrete foundations where the rest of the barracks used to stand. It really shows the massive scale of this camp. It was originally designed to hold about 6,000 prisoners, but when American forces liberated this place in 1945, over 30,000 people were stuffed in there, which means they had about 2,000 people per one of those buildings that you see here. And in a building with only 200 beds, and only a few minutes that they were allowed to use these bathrooms in the mornings, I can only imagine how hard that must have been. Now, at the far end of the camp, hidden away behind the tree line, is probably the darkest part of Dachau, the crematorium area. As the camp became more and more overcrowded and the death toll from disease, for example typhus was a big one there, but also prisoners died from starvation and exhaustion, the original crematorium couldn't keep up. So they built a larger one, and this is it. It's known as the Barracks. But this facility was more than just a crematorium. It was also used as an execution center. As I walked through this building, it was getting more and more evil and darker, so the first section of the crematorium was for disinfecting clothes. Forced labor prisoners were responsible for taking dirty clothes from prisoners and put them in these airtight chambers. These heavy doors were bolted shut before they released the gas Zyklon B into those chambers in order to disinfect the clothes from potential typhus-carrying lice. Once done, they vent the chambers and take the clothes back into the camp. Right around the corner is the waiting room, right before the prisoners went into the gas chambers. Here, they were informed that they need to take their clothes off so that they can take a shower. The shower lie was used so that the prisoners would willingly walk in without panicking. Once they are in, the doors were sealed shut and the gas is released. Here, I also learned that it took about 15 to 20 minutes for the victims to suffocate, which was a lot longer than I expected. For some reason, I thought it was a lot quicker than that. It's 15 to 20 minutes of pure terror, as you can imagine. This gas chamber was designed for up to 150 people at a time. However, there's only evidence to suggest that they used the gas chambers on a handful of people at a time. It was never like a mass industrial killing machine like it was in Auschwitz. It's a little different here. Still disturbing, however. Right behind the chambers, you have the ovens where the bodies of the dead were burned. Not just the people from the gas chambers, but also from the camp and other executions that they had on site. For example, prisoners were hanged in front of the burning ovens. This was very efficient, since they didn't have to carry the bodies far. Each one of these ovens can fit 2 to 3 bodies at a time, and to further emphasize my point on efficiency, the ovens were built right next to the gas chambers, because the gas Zyklon B needed warmer temperatures to be effective, which was very useful, especially in the winter. On top of that, they used one ventilation system for the gas chambers and the ovens, so everything here was about efficiency. Look, I want to finish this video on a more positive note because the weight of history here is suffocating. Over 41,000 people died here. This place was not a quote-unquote fun place to visit in the middle of our vacation in Germany, but it brought me a very valuable perspective on life. So next time you complain about the weather, or you're stressed over a breakup, or just feel like life is being unfair to you, come here, walk the grounds, see the barracks, and stand inside the gas chambers. I promise you, this visit will be the ultimate perspective check, making you realize how fortunate you are today. Okay, we are leaving. We're leaving the concentration camp. Hopefully it was informative and interesting. And yeah, that's all my hopes. Thanks. Peace.